welcome in Bobcat fans to week 3 of the Frostburg Sports Awards, and we're starting off with our male athlete of the week. Jordan Marcucci from football had 5 catches for 96 yards and 3 of the team's 4 touchdowns. Jordan, a big win for you and the team. How would you kind of summarize your performance and the team's performance?
Yes, sir. First, I just want to say all glory to God, because without Him, none of this would be possible. And yeah, we just went out there. We started off hot. We were good, and then we kind of died down in like the second quarter. But then we picked it back up, coming back into the second half. And overall, the team, we did really well. Defense did a really good job, especially in the last quarter. They really they did what they were supposed to do. And Zay coming in, that was a big step, losing Graham. But like we got a lot of depth and we have a lot of talent on this team, and that was showcased on Saturday. All props to Zay, because without him or the man above, none of this would be possible.
You talked about Isaiah Lester coming in place of Graham Walker, and Isaiah spent the past couple of years as the backup to Graham. And how much confidence did the team have in him to come in and do that job? I mean, pass for I think it was 235 yards and the 3 touchdowns, and really made the difference in that second half with you guys.
Yeah, we always had confidence in Zay, and we always have confidence in our backups, because that's what they're supposed to do when they come in. But Zay all camp, he had a great camp. Even last year when I was playing with him in the black group, he's a really good quarterback, and a lot of people don't see that because they always see Graham. But when he came in, he got his feet settled in, and then he did what he was supposed to do. All props to him.
Last year, you were able to play under a trio of really great wide receivers that were all seniors and graduated. Malik Morris obviously gets the headlines, all-time receiving leader, all-time touchdowns, and Zay Giles, who came in and was a speed demon, really made a big impact. Christian Thornton, who's Mr. Do-It-All and can do anything. How valuable was it for you to play under those guys and learn some lessons, get some tips as a freshman, and now coming in as a redshirt freshman to be able to use this year?
I was really blessed to have them as my mentors coming into this camp, because when I first came here, freshman coming out of high school, you got a big head. You always think you're gonna play and all this, but I'm kind of glad that they were in that position, and they showed me a lot coming from last year. Like Malik, he would always bring me to the side and tell me what I was doing and doing wrong, and Zay, he would always give me tips too, and even CT. Even when I was having a bad day during camp last year, they would all just tell me, calm down, like, you have plenty time, like, all that. And all that stuff just really played into who I am today, because without them, I feel like I wouldn't be somewhere where I am in this position I am today, because they did teach me a lot. Now I can't thank you God enough for that.
In the game, your 3 touchdowns you scored were quite different in all the ways.
Yes, sir.
The first one, a little fade to the back corner of the end zone in a very important moment. 3 seconds left until halftime. The second one on a little pitch and catch, coming on a jet sweep essentially. And then the third, you just caught the ball around the 25 and scampered all the way into the end zone. It speaks to sort of the trust as well that the coaching staff has with you and the ways that they're going to mobilize you. How much, respect have you found with a brand new coaching staff? Obviously, head coach Eric Wagner, the DC last year, didn't get a ton of interaction with him, but, bringing all these new guys in, how much has this coaching staff improved you guys?
It improved a lot. We had a whole change in the playbook, but like Miller coming in, who else came in? Malcolm being our new running backs coach, Wagner being the head coach. It was all like, it wasn't a weird change, but it was just something to adapt to. And then when they did get here and then we adapted to it, we started flowing them pretty well. And Miller, like I said, he's a great OC. He know what he's doing. But yeah, all those guys coming in, it didn't feel different, because I still have the same wide receivers coach. Wiggins is still here, my recruiting coordinator. So like it was a little different, but it wasn't really that different, because we adapted to it pretty well, and we already knew the culture and what we were trying to bring here at Frostburg.
You look ahead into the weeks coming up, and you guys have some confidence coming off with 3 wins. Haven't necessarily played our greatest game so far, but wins are wins, and that's sort of how the conference goes. When you look ahead to the rest of this year, and last year, first-time conference championships at Division II. You look at the schedule this year, and the MEC's kind of been a wild ride. And what's your guys' preparation week by week, and what are your feelings and thoughts going in, every week so far being undefeated?
Preparation by week, we're always trying to go 1-0 every week. Like, Yesterday we put Charleston to bed. That's over and done with. We're not going to see them for another 365 days. Right now we're focusing on Concord. Our main focus is Concord. Nobody else, not Notre Dame, nobody else. So every time we go into a game week, we're always focused on that one team, nothing else, not even the conference championship, national championship. We're always just trying to be 1-0 every week.
All right, Jordan, thank you for coming on today to talk to us. You've obviously got your classes and practicing coming thick and thin now, but appreciate your time here and congratulations on your big week. We'll be hoping for more throughout the season, but really, thank you.
Thank you so much, and I just want to thank you to all my teammates. Thank you, the man above again. Thank you to all the coaching staff. It wouldn't be possible without you guys. Let's go 1-0 again this week.
All right, we'll be back next up with Kylie Hine, who is our Coach of the Week from volleyball, as they went 4-0, so be sure to stay tuned for her interview as well. Back on week 3 of the Frostburg Sports Awards with our Coach of the Week, Kylie Hine, after her volleyball squad went 4-0 this past week in 4 straight sweeps. Coach, a big week for you guys and getting some wins under the belt and a lot of confidence coming into this team. How would you rate your team's performances?
Good. I think that it's definitely a change from the past 2 seasons to now. So overall, feeling pretty good.
Started out with a 3-0 win over Virginia Union, and just being back at home in Bobcat Arena, and then you hit the road for 3 weekend matches. This team now has 12 wins. It's the most for the program since 2016. Your most here since you've been the head coach at Frostburg. How much value have you guys gotten out of getting these early wins and having some confidence?
I think that since the very beginning of season, like day 1 of practices, we were talking mainly about like milestones instead of looking at this like big picture of like, okay, this is what we want to achieve before we get to preseason. It's literally talking about going into each match. Like we're playing small games to 2. And if we can continue to win those small games to 2, then we're going to win that set. And then so on and so forth. So I think that with this group, it's really been helpful to focus on like one little thing at a time. And, it's really cool to like look back, but like 12 wins is awesome. Going into conference is definitely a better feeling than if it would be reversed. But I think it goes back to like those little thoughts. Like all we're thinking about right now is AB and how we're going to conquer that. And
one of the big points for this year I've noticed has been the defense for you guys, and we'll talk about the offense later on with Bev as our athlete of the week for the female side. But one thing that has caught my mind this year, McKaylee Thompson-Aran and AJ Thompson specifically on the block, and they've been able to shut down opposing teams' offenses. I believe, when I look back, and AJ has 49 blocks already this year, McKaylee's got 40 herself. Those two have really made a difference for you guys with shutting down the offenses.
Yeah, no, I think that we, like, again, in practice, we focus a lot. It's not even so much that we're focusing and, like, keying in on, like, blocking. Like, we want to be the best blocking team or anything like that. I think it's just been a lot of focus on being, like, filling your role and understanding that your role has so many different responsibilities and how you can contribute. So, even last season, too, with AJ and McKaylee, a lot of it was, being disciplined, staying patient, and we talk a lot about it in practice. Like you can be late to your block, but you don't want to be wrong. So we might make a late adjustment or a late movement to get to the pin or whatever it is, but we're not just going to be guessing. So I think that there's a lot of like volleyball IQ development that's been there too.
And if they do get past that block, you've got Fiona Gonzalez-Medina right behind them to clean anything up. She showed some flashes last year in her freshman year and came in important late on in the season as a defensive specialist. Now has had to step up into the libero spot and has really, outshone even, some of what she saw last year. Obviously, you see that as the coach, but, from us looking at her and getting a starting spot, she's really done amazing along with Bianca and Jenna and whoever comes in as well with her in the defensive specialist spots.
Yeah, no, I think that Fiona really has owned that role as libero, and, she has a really high standard for herself, which is awesome. She puts a lot of pressure on herself, but she's able to get to things that I don't really logically understand, which is fantastic. But I think for everyone in the back row, whether it's Bev, Bianca, Jenna, Phoebe's been back there a little bit, Amanda has seen backcourt, who else? A lot of people, but I think that's one of the cool things about our team is that we do have depth, and there is the potential for anyone to really step in and fill a role, and they can do that with confidence too.
Into MEC play, you talked about focusing on AB starting out this week. It's going to be a slog with the conference schedule, and you can only do so much to prepare in your non-conference and getting all the tournaments and matches in. But the MEC is a different animal. How are you guys preparing and going into this year, coming off your first appearance at the MEC tournament last year?
I think it's this conference schedule that we have. I look back and I think about how tiring the preseason has been with being on the road practically every weekend and playing 4 matches a weekend or a week, whatever it be. And I think that, man, it's almost going to be kind of like a step back. Now we're going straight to a Tuesday, Friday schedule. We travel this week, but that's nothing new. We're used to being on the bus. We're used to traveling. So I think all of those outside variables we're well rehearsed with, so that's nice. But I think it's going to go back to just those milestones. We're not going to get ahead of ourselves. We're going to focus on AB, and then after tomorrow we'll have practice, and we're going to refocus on what we need to accomplish for the rest of the week. So just little things to get us to the big picture at the end of the year.
Well, Coach, thank you for coming on today to talk to us. You obviously are busy with, getting the road schedule, and you've got practices coming out, but I really appreciate your time here. Congratulations on your wins this past week. Hopefully see some more coming into conference play as well.
Thank you very much.
All right, well, next up, we'll continue with volleyball as Beverly Braun will join us as our Female Athlete of the Week. Wrapping up week 3 of the Frostburg Sports Awards with Beverly Braun from volleyball as she helped the team to 4 wins this week. Bev, a pretty good week for you yourself individually and also for the team. How would you sort of rate the performances?
I think we did really well. I think we played clean volleyball, and we played our volleyball and didn't change how we played based on the other team. So we won, and it was good. So, yeah.
So in the week, you hit .516 as a hitting percentage and 67 kills and really just seemed to find your groove, and you're so far setting a career high for hit percentage this year. Have you made any sort of adjustments, or it's just a growing period for you where you're able to, find and finish kills this year more than you have in your previous career?
I think that we're spreading the offense more, so it's leaving all the hitters up with one block, which is easier to put a ball away with that. Also, I think with more experience, I'm able to see a block better, so that's helping me a lot. But yeah.
You talked about spreading the offense, and 2 newcomers that really have made a difference this year, Joy Allen and Katie Keach, have come in on the opposite side of you, and they've really stepped up in a big way to make a difference where you mentioned it, teams can't just focus on you, and now they have to worry about everyone. You've obviously got AJ and McKaylee in the middle as well, so it seems very much like, perhaps the most balanced offense we've had so far in your career.
Yeah. Offense and our blocking is a lot better, which also helps our back row a lot, which in turn helps front row. So I think just everything is kind of coming together a lot more this year than it has in my past 2 years.
In the assist column, your freshman year was pretty much all Edwina Linez that came in and was really the starter and played the majority of the minutes. Then last year, Haley Delore came in as a transfer, and she came in as the starter and, racked up, I think, 922 assists, a great number for her. Now it seems that, Coach Hine has really found the balance between the two where, one player may not having the best day, they can bring the other one in and no one misses a beat. What are, some of the positives that both of them can bring for you guys?
I think they're both very different setters, but it's a very good balance between the two. Our last few games, we were using them both in the game, and I think front row, Haley is able to offer a good block, and then back row, Ed has really good defense, so being able to use both of them and they're both setting is really helpful. And I know some hitters connect well with one setter versus the other, so being able to put those hitters up with Haley or Ed, which they work better with, is helpful for them.
Going into MEC play this week, and the team already has 12 wins, the most since 2017 for the program already. You look at the conference, and there's some results here and there that may surprise some people, but it's obviously a different animal than, coming in with all the tournaments and seeing all these different teams. Coach Kylie said that she's preparing one game at a time for herself. Is that the same mentality the team has of, you don't want to focus on any team too far ahead of time or look at conference tournaments, and just one game, per week?
She's really stressing one milestone at a time. So each milestone, we're doing it practice or games, but game-wise, each team one at a time. So tomorrow we have AB, and that's our only focus, and we're not talking about our game on Friday. And so we'll watch film and only talk about them for now. And then once we finish that game, we move on to the next. So she's very big on these milestones and one step at a time.
Well, Bev, thank you for coming on today to talk to us. We know that you've got your classes and games now, pretty much every day, but we appreciate your time, and congratulations on your big week for the team getting the wins, and we're hoping to see some more here in the future.
Thank you.
All right, well, that does it for this week. Next week, we'll be back with another couple of athletes and a new coach, so be sure to stay tuned. As always, go Bobcats.